Hey guys, what's up? Firefang92 once again. So I'm here bringing a quick little profile of my special custom brawler deck that I use to top 8 in ARG. I've already talked about the deck a little bit on this channel, so I'm going to try to make this nice and quick and just talk about the changes, one of which you're looking at right now. My starter is now Lizard Soldier Saishin. What he does is when he boosts an attack that hits Vanguard, you can counterblast one, put him into the soul, retire one of your opponent's grade zeros, and yeah, that's all he does. The reason he's in there is that I hate Shadow Paladins with a passion. Especially in this deck. Shadow Paladins really hard counter this deck, so being able to take out that Judge Bow quick is vital. So that's why I'm playing him. 4 crit, 6 crit, 8 crit, because crits are nice. We got here Malevolent Djinn, who can move into the soul and give something 3k, so a little bit of soul fill, a little bit of power. Mostly in there for the soul fill. Only playing him at 2 because I need the brawler name, which he doesn't have. 4 draw, getting more and more vital to play draws, especially as we're sort of seeing Glory sort of die down just a little bit. I know it's still very prevalent, but Glory's been a little less prevalent of late, so draw is very important, boost your consistency. 3-1 because confusion play, also I could only find 3 of this one. 4 heal, because heal. Another big change is I'm now playing 4 copies of Mighty Bolt Dragoon. The strides in this deck do a lot of work, so being able to stride often is it's a big advantage. Especially if you can manage to go second with a deck this aggressive. So I want to be striding a lot, so I'm playing him at 4. We got 4 copies of Tonfa Brawler Arc. He was maybe not as fond of the stride era as a lot of the other cards in this deck are, because he needs your Vanguard to be in Legion, so a lot of the times he just ends up as a 7k booster, unfortunately. But hey, 7k, brawler name, helpful. We got 3 copies of Eradicator Wyvern Guard Guild, and 1 copy of Hardship Brawler Toshu. Why Wyvern Guard Guild instead of Anastasia? Well, because of Toshu. So, Toshu's a quintet wall, and if I get one of these off of him, I can use it. Also, the X. Let's not pretend he's not a thing. 2 copies of Rising... Oh, also the reason I'm playing Toshu is because Legion deck. 2 copies Rising Phoenix, Soul Blast 2, get a draw, very helpful, especially because you don't have a lot of defense in this deck. 4 copies of Slash Buster, because he's a mate, 3 copies of Slash Dragon, because he's a mate, and 4 copies of Demonic Dragon Berserker Shathura. He is so great. He can only attack a Vanguard, which gets a little cumbersome, especially in early game, but he's so worth it, because if he hits, counterblast 1, draw a card, and we're moving on. He also binds a card from the drop zone. That doesn't really do much, just their justification for not making him a 9k base, which is also a little bit cumbersome, especially if you have to ride him, but hopefully you're riding one of these guys. But the draw is so very vital in this deck, because, well, you really don't have that much defense. Moving on to the grade 3 lineup, we got 3 copies of Big Bang Knuckle Buster, 4 copies of Big Bang Knuckle Dragon. I might switch that around in the future, because my past justification was, well, you can't use this one without this one, so you should be playing more of this one than of this one, but the strides let you hang on a little bit longer. But that justification still exists, so... he attacks the front row for 2 counterblasts, he attacks 4 cards for 1 counterblast, and 1 of either of them. And they both gain 5k. And he also Soul Blast 1 for an extra 3, which has become important once again because of this guy. So that means if you did go first, you can ride into him, Soul Blast 1, and be attacking for 19, which will force 15 for a 1 to pass from most grade 2s. So you can basically guarantee you'll get him off, which is nice, again, especially against Shadow Paladins. Also, it irks Aquaforce, who's big right now because of Lambros. Next we got 1 copy of Dragonic Vanquisher. This guy is amazing. I've been thinking of making him his own deck. A lot of people like to say, well, that GB2 is pretty meh. The GB2 is meh. As you've seen, I can't even use it in this deck. There's no card, unless I want to like call Saishin to the right and try to hit, which isn't going to happen. But that on-stride skill, Counterblast 1, and retire and bind a card. What that does is it forces full usage of your Conquest Dragons, which is fantastic, because Conquest Dragon is just such a great card. And I'm comfortable teching him at 1, because Mighty Bolt searches him on call. So if I do get into a game where it seems like I'm going to be using more strides than these guys, I go out for him. But if these guys seem like they can be useful, I'm going to use them, because it's still such a tight little combo, especially having these guys to really force out guard. Because if you can be pressuring that many cards out of your opponent's hand, especially with the card that is the new workhorse of the deck, Supreme Conquering Dragon, Conquest Dragon, who we have at 4. What he does is flips one of himself face up, then if you have 2 or more face up in the G zone, retire a card and give your front row plus 5k for each of your opponent's open front row rear guard circles. So, again, he works perfectly with Dragonic Vanquisher, and he's really great with Shathura and Slash Buster if you have one of these guys as the heart, because that makes them 21 on their own, and 21's a fantastic number, especially when you can do it that easy. Sorry, the video is going to be a little shaky, I have a tremor. We have 2 copies of True Brawler Big Bang Knuckle Turbo. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, he gets 5k and flip a G unit face up. He gets 5k for each face up of himself, and then if you have a Big Bang Knuckle heart, he attacks 3 cards for each of your hearts. So if these guys are in Legion, you attack 6 cards. If they're not, you attack 3 cards. I find more often than not, I use him to attack 3, because my opponents really just can't build the field presence for the 6 to matter, especially if I already used him. But he's a great card in his own right. I'm not playing him at higher numbers because that would mean cutting down on the Conquest, and the Conquest is a much better push for game card, and if I'm using these guys in early game to boost up the damage, then it's kind of, I really want to have the power more than the numbers of retires. I can use him twice though, so that's kind of nice, because he doesn't have to flip up himself. Next, we have Lightning Dragon Knight Zorus and Snow Elemental Blizza. These guys are... The Blizz is important for hardcore pushes late into the game if you just only need power, and Zorus is there as a first stride. Turbo can be used as a first stride as well, so sometimes I find I end up flipping him up for him and just ignoring him. But if you do end up on your Vanquisher and you need something to stride into before your Conquest, that's what he's for. Alright, so I hope this was informative, and I realize it was a bit non-standard because, you know, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't want to go over twice. But, you know, I appreciate the watch. Firefang92, signing out.